Welcome back. This is Geometry, Unit 6, Section 6-4, Special Parallelograms. This is video 2. Going to mark up some rhombi. Have different types drawn in. I have a rhombus without a diagonal, a rhombus with each individual diagonal, and then a rhombus that has both diagonals all together. This was an exercise we did for parallelograms, and I think it's a good review of things that we've learned in the past, as well as applying our new material. So just going to mark some things that are true. Let's start with, since this is a rhombus, it is also a parallelogram, which opposite sides are parallel. We also know, based off of the definition of a rhombus, that all four sides are congruent. And we also know that since this is a parallelogram, the opposite angles are congruent as well. And then lastly, we could say that consecutive angles inside of any parallelogram, because every rhombus is always a parallelogram, consecutive angles are always supplementary. So we could say angle 1 plus angle 2 equals 180 degrees. Okay, so not all parallelograms are rhombi, but every rhombus is a parallelogram. Therefore, every rhombus carries everything that's true about a parallelogram. Okay, let's go into a rhombus with one diagonal drawn in. So if we start with the fact that all four sides are congruent in a rhombus based off of definition, this actually says a lot for us. So if this third side is congruent to itself, we have two congruent triangles through side, side, side. Or there's multiple ways to prove that those two triangles are congruent. But now we can start talking about all their parts being congruent. And every diagonal in a rhombus bisects two opposite angles. So we actually have four angles here that are congruent to each other. And we also have opposite angles in a rhombus are congruent to each other. So that's every pair of corresponding parts inside of those two triangles are congruent. Same thing works if we draw on the other diagonal. This diagonal splits the opposite angles of the parallelogram into two congruent parts when it's a rhombus. So I have congruent angles here and here. Opposite angles of a parallelogram are congruent. And all four sides being congruent, middle section congruent to itself, and again we have two congruent triangles inside of the rhombus. All right, let's move to when we have both diagonals drawn in. So we have one property of rhombi is when the diagonals meet, that creates 90-degree angles. So they are perpendicular to each other. So we have four right angles there in the middle. Let's also remember that every rhombus is a parallelogram, and inside of parallelograms, diagonals bisect each other. So we have smaller congruent parts here. On top of that, a rhombus has four congruent sides. And a rhombus also has all sorts of angles that are congruent. Remember, each diagonal splits the opposite angles into congruent parts. We have congruent angles here and here. If we draw on the other diagonal, we have congruent angles here and here. And if you're looking at all four triangles inside of a rhombus, all four triangles are congruent to each other for multiple reasons. Side, 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 angle, side, you name it, lots of different ways. Just make sure that you folks can see inside of these, inside of the rhombi, that we have lots of isosceles triangles built inside of them. That's going to help you find angle measures down the road. And there's another isosceles triangle. There's also one right here. If you looked for a while, you can find lots of them inside of that rhombus.